So hello everyone, I'm Anuradha Sant, your host for today. We welcome you to another webinar hosted by the Coaches for You community, which has been formed with volunteers from the ICF India coaching community. This webinar presentation will last for 30 minutes. It will be followed by a 15-minute Q&A. During the webinar, you're free to write in your comments or questions in the chat box, and we request you to keep your mics on mute and preferably even go off camera during the entire session to prevent any bandwidth issues or any disturbance to the presenter. We'll also request you to fill a brief feedback form at the end of the webinar, which is very, very important for us to get your feedback and better our future offerings. So as I've mentioned in the chat box, as we are ready to begin, do let us know your name, where you're calling in from, and the location that you're dialing in from in the chat box. And this will also give me a heads up to say that you all can hear us clearly. So coming back to the topic for today's webinar is Life is Fair. And to take us through this is our experienced coach, Rajesh Abichandani, who resides in Chennai. Rajesh is a BTech from IIT Kanpur. He's also a professional certified coach and an NLP practitioner. Those of you who don't understand what NLP is, it is neuro-linguistic programming. So, so we all have a different take on life, and whether we see as life fair or not is a question that we all deal with. So let's see what perspective Rajesh can share with with us today. So I invite Rajesh to take over from here and help us explore this further. So Rajesh, over to you, please.
Yeah, thank you, Anu. Thank you for the introduction. And thank you everyone for joining in. You know, I can see already more than 50 participants there, and from across the globe. You know, there are participants from Nairobi, Dubai, Chennai, Mumbai. I see another one from Nigeria, which is very interesting. So, you know, this community that we have set up, Coaches for You, has brought in all of us together. And also, in a way, you know, we need to thank this COVID, which is in a way bringing all of us together to this forum, including, you know, including my own parents and my siblings on the call. So it's wonderful to see everybody together here. So what we're going to do today is share with everybody here what I see, my views about what is life about, is life fair and all. And the way we will do it is it's going to be pretty interactive in the sense that we will require you to be active, share your feedback, comments on the chat box, and towards the end we can have question and answers. So are you able to see my slide? Is it visible?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, so well, the topic is life is fair. We'll start with the question here. Do you think life is fair? And to get a perspective from the audience, we will have a small poll. So I'll request Anu to launch a small poll to get your views. What do you think? Is life fair for you, or how do you see it?
So the poll is on. You just have to click on the yes or no button. So we have 77% voted already. All right, that's moving fast.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give it another 5 seconds.
Right.
Right, we're nearly there. Last one needs to come in. All right, I think I'll end the poll now. I think we've got a decent participation. 98% people have voted, and this is what the result says.
Okay, this is interesting. My expectations of result was something different, but this is quite interesting that 84% of the people feel that life is fair, and I guess all of us have our own reasons to say when we say that life is fair or unfair. So
yes, 16% still say no. So yeah, so there is a divided house.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, good. Thank you for sharing the feedback here. If we move on. Now, what is the definition? What does unfair really mean? So I tried to look at, what is the definition of fair, unfair in the dictionary. And this is what the dictionary says. The first thing, that unfair is an adjective. What it says is that not fair, not conforming to approved standards of justice, honesty, or ethics. So it talks about approved standards. And if you think about who actually defines these approved standards, it's none other than the person himself or herself who defines that what is that approved standard of justice, honesty, or ethics that could be there. Let's try to understand this with an example. So let's say I have a mango farm. Mango season is around. So let's say I have a mango farm, and the trees are laden with the mango fruit, and I have my boundary protected and so on. There is a small boy who goes around the boundary and looks at the trees and somehow gets into the farm, and using a stone, he picks up one of the mangoes and started to eat. So while he's doing all of this, my cameras tell me that something like this has happened, and I catch him that there is somebody here in my farm who's doing it, and I get hold of him and beat him up for entering my farm and stealing. Now, what do you think? Did I do the right thing? Is it right to if somebody comes in and picks up a mango from my farm, is that the right thing to do? And if he has done and I decide to beat him up? No. Okay. No, everybody says no.
So yeah, no. Okay.
It's quite interesting, Yes. So yes, so there may be various reasons why we say no or yes to.
So Adhir says no, one should counsel the boy and correct the behavior.
Yes.
So maybe hitting is saying. So there's somebody said yes also. Murli says yes. Yeah.
Yes. So again, it depends on what does justice mean for me. I believe that, by hitting the boy, I have done justice. I have at least, that's how I look at justice. But then there are many others who would think it otherwise. So it's the justice, or it being fair, unfair, is pretty much depend on how I look at things. Let's look at another example. So if you look at this, I will allow you for a minute to read this. Now, this is called the would you testify problem. So if you take a minute to read it, that you are riding a car along with your friend, and the friend hits a pedestrian, and there are no other witnesses around, and the pedestrian, the person on the road, is bruised. So he got some injury, but not badly hurt. The speed limit in this part of the town is 30 kilometers an hour. But we know that the friend with whom I'm sitting in the car is driving at 55 kilometers an hour. So the police comes and the case is there. Now the lawyer tells that if you testify under oath that your friend was driving at 30 or below 30, he will have no serious consequences of it. So would you testify that your friend was driving at 30 kilometers or under 30 kilometers? So once again, to get your opinion, I request Anu to launch a small poll where you'd like to know that how would you do it if this was an experience with you? Would you testify that he was driving at 30 kilometers? Okay.
So far mixed.
Those are coming in.
Yeah, so there are yeses and nos.
Right.
Right, 69, 74% voted. So we have to play fastest fingers first. So let's do it quickly.
Yeah.
All right, 70, 80% in. So I'll give it another 5 seconds.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're almost there.
Fair enough. So 90% have polled.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll end the polling and let me share the results.
Yeah. So what it says, the result from this group of people says that 65% of the people will not testify. So they will say that, okay, this person was driving above 55 kilometers an hour and or above 30 kilometers an hour, and whatever be the consequences, the person needs to face it. So this was an experiment which was done across countries, different countries, and this is how the result look like. So if you see in here, it says that as per this experiment, 54% of the people in India would say that or would not testify. There would be still 46% who would testify that yes, he or she was driving under 30 kilometers. And this percentage varies across countries. So France, there'll be lesser number of people to testify that he was driving under 30, and Canada, US, 93% would not testify, and Switzerland, 97% of people will not testify. Now, again, the reason behind showing this example is that our choice of what is honesty, it is very subjective, and it depends from countries to countries. It depends from region to region, our culture, the way we have been born and brought up. And that is where a lot of time when we talk about life being fair or anything being fair, unfair, it depends. It is very subjective. And we could see that also when we had the initial poll about how various people think about life. So moving on, if you look at this picture, what does this picture tell you? What can you see in this picture? So please feel free to, jot your comments on the chat. So if you look at this picture, what can you see, or what do you see on this picture? Okay, people are thinking.
So write down whatever. So
yeah, stone is suspended in air, the rock is floating, which is very wonderful.
I've seen
Somebody
it
has seen
earlier.
it earlier. Yeah, for you.
Stone is suspended.
Yes.
A part of ground is lifted with plants and trees. A hole in the earth. A rock with a plantation.
Floating
rock. Storm rooting up plants.
Nice.
Stone in water. Okay.
Picture within a picture, mirror image. Okay, so some of us have seen this picture. So obviously, when I click on this, there should not be a surprise that what does it look like? So actually, this is the picture that we are talking about. So what you see now is the real picture. And when you turn it upside down, when you look it from the other side, the first picture was, how do you look it from the, when you look at the other side, the second picture. So it all depends on how you look at things, which angle you look at, which direction you look at. And you know, we can talk about rock flowing in the sky and so on, but actually we have a rock sitting very nicely in a lake, and you have reflections of trees and all around it. So this is how there. Another picture, just to illustrate the same point, that you know, if you have 6 or 9, depends on which side of it you are seeing it. You may see it as 6, somebody else may see it 9. And just because I am right, or I am on this side and see it as 6, doesn't mean that somebody else saying it as 9 is not right. So these are all examples just to show that, you know, it all depends on where and how do we look at things, which tells us or which defines that how do we perceive things, how do we look at things. So if you move on. Now, have some of us experienced that sometimes bad things happen to good people? Let's say we take an example, you know, somebody who has been preparing for getting an admission into IIT. She's been spending multiple years, you know, studying in quota and preparing for it. And suddenly we are in this situation where we are today, where, you know, everything is closed. People who have been in quota have been asked to go back home. It is not clear how the JEE exam will happen, how the entrance exam will happen, and so on. So that person who is experiencing this situation may feel that, you know, why is this happening to me? Why am I experiencing this? It happens to us, many of us who are professionals from office. We are all set to get a promotion this year, and whatever has happened has happened. And lots of companies already announcing job cuts, to salary freeze, to many other things happening. And we know that our chance of getting a promotion doesn't exist. So I have been working hard for years, and suddenly you come to this. So why does it happen to us? And to illustrate this a bit more is this one. That in today's situation, so when you see this picture, what does it tell you? You know, what comes to your mind when you look at this picture?
Again, invite you to write in the comment box, please. So it stays, break the boundaries, frustration, agitated, frustration, seeking freedom, trying to escape, anger, helplessness, courage, trying to break barriers, power, want to get over with all hardships. She's strong, okay. Want to break free, power, want to be free, break the bonds and be free, struggle.
Yeah. So wonderful. You know, everybody talking about getting freedom, and especially, you know, at this time when, you know, most of us have been stuck in our houses for over 45 days. This is what comes to us, that, you know, we want to break free, and especially, you know, this BJP, which is like Bartan, Jhadu and Pocha, which many of us have been doing and experiencing. We want to get free of that and just move out of it. True. So this picture or this slide is about just reflecting back. How how things were, let's say, a year ago, and how a lot of us were seeing things in 2019, when everything that we were doing as human beings seems to be justified, be it be trying to exploit the natural resources, be trying to having animals in the cages, exploiting or putting up, cutting down trees, building up new, or clearing up, lands for forests, for building up flats and so on. Everything that we were doing was all justified. And we felt that, we are the top of the creation, and everything that we're doing is the right thing to happen. And suddenly comes 2020, and possibly a small virus, which we are not even able to see. And this is where we become. And we start to feel that, why this is happening to us. Is it really justified? Is it why does this happen to us, that we need to be inside our houses, we cannot move out? We have, some of us may experience, some of our closer ones experiencing or going through this in pain and everything else. We are not able to move out, not able to meet people, everything. Now, is this, when you think about this, is life fair? Question comes again. Then yes, if we just only look at today's scenario, many of us may think about that, yes, life is not fair. Why is it happening to us? But then when we try to put all of this in a bigger perspective, how things are happening, how probably a balancing in the nature is happening, things seems to be fair. Is that not so? Okay. Now, when we talk about things being fair and not fair, one of the things that comes is that if we are stuck in this current situation, what is it that I can do? So this slide is about presenting something where, there are things which are in our control, and there are certain things which are outside our control. So what is in our control is our words, our actions, our ideas, our efforts, our behavior. So all of these things is pretty much which is in our control. But then there are many other things which others are doing around us. So for example, today 8 o'clock, our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, is going to come on TV. Now, we don't know what is he going to tell again. Is he going to extend the lockdown for another 2 weeks, 3 weeks? We don't know. And that's something which is beyond our control. There's very little that you and me can do about what's going to be the announcement that happens later today, or what has been happening all these years. But yes, what is in my control, our control today, is that whatever is happening to us today, where we are today, what can we do? How can we utilize the time that we have in a way which is the most productive for us? So that's definitely something which is in our control. And when we start to move in that direction, where we start to focus upon what is in our control, the way we behave, the way we look at things is definitely different. Now this picture, if you were to just look at this picture, what kind of thoughts come to your mind? If you would put quickly on the chat box. So we can see a fish, trapped. Fish has grown bigger. Okay, anything else? Limitations.
Somebody said stuck. I need space.
Yeah, can't
living
do much.
in limits.
Yeah,
Trying to adjust. Insensitive humans. Okay.
Okay, that's nice.
No,
People
no
can,
scope for movement growth.
right. Yeah, somebody can see a fish or a human in the fish, which is nice. It's a nice reflection that, we, when we see this picture, we are able to link it to this. Yes. So many of us are feeling this as stuck, in there. And I see a lot of Mumbai people who have small houses stuck there in for 40, 45, 50 days will feel more. Not that other places are bigger, but yes, more so in Mumbai. Okay, no place for movement. So now if we add another picture to this, so if this would be the picture added to the previous one, how does it look? Or is there anything which changes? Do you feel different?
So
More space to explore? Wow, yeah.
life is not fair.
Okay,
Be
life
at
is
the
not.
right place, still stuck. Owners envy, neighbors pride. Okay.
Okay.
Unprivileged fish looking at privileged fish. They both look lonely.
Right.
Injustice to bigger fish. More space, yet there are boundaries. More space, but I'm still a prisoner. Grass is greener on the other bowl. Okay.
Wow, nice.
Relativity, I guess. Yeah.
Relativity,
Life is
beautiful.
good in the bigger jar. More space, but alone.
Two glass sculptures. Okay. I see quite creative ideas or creative thoughts coming up from people, which is nice. I think the whole idea here is that for a lot of us now, and a lot of times in our life, we start to feel like this, where we feel we are stuck. And it could be for various reasons that, we are not able to move out, we're not able to do certain things, and we feel stuck. And at times when we look at something else, look at the other big bowl. So let's say when I start to compare my salary with let's say Mukesh Ambani or people like that, then I feel that, okay, what am I doing here? Or if I'm an entrepreneur who's starting up his business, struggling with my business, and then look at enterprises declaring their $1 billion profit every quarter and so on, you feel that why is it happening to you, why are you like that, and so on. So it's a very natural feeling. You can feel it in the corporate world, where you feel that somebody else is getting a promotion, is on the higher position, and so on. So the whole idea is that you feel stuck, and a lot of us probably stay there and crib about it, and not knowing what to do. So what I'm going to present here is a slide that, do you see this as a possibility that you can try to break from where you are? It's not easy, right? Breaking the barriers, trying to move out. It could be a big leap, or it could also be a smaller leap first and then another leap. So these are possibilities uh, that exist. And yes, it requires this leap of faith. So you need to have trust in yourself. You need to have trust on your capabilities, that yes, you are able to break from where you are. You are able to get uh, out of the position where you feel yourself stuck, and then move on. But yes, it is definitely a possibility, and that's where the whole thing comes out. So coming out of the comfort zone. Yes. So the whole idea is that or what we're trying to show it here, present here in this slide, is that instead of feeling stuck at some place, we can try to do things. We can try to do things outside our comfort zone, try to get into the bigger bowl, or do things which could help us feel much better. Okay. How many of us feel that, there's something called luck? A quick raise of hand or saying yes or no, that, do you believe there's something called luck? Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Me, yes. Yes.
No, there's somebody said no as well. Me
Is it? Okay,
no,
somebody
yeah.
said one no. One no, but yes, most of them seems to say we have a couple of no's, yes. So what is luck? We all feel that, uh, at times we get, or a lot of time, uh, luck for us is when we look at the other person and we feel that, this guy is lucky, he's born into a rich family, or he's got this lottery, or he's got this, and he's lucky, he managed to be at the right place at the right time, and is able to achieve what he or she has achieved, and we call that as luck. uh, so yes, this is definitely one of the ways of looking at it. However, there is another way of looking at what is luck is this. So if we call luck as labor under correct knowledge, so it's something that, when you look at things from this angle, it is something where you have more control over what output can you get if you put in the right labor, if you work with the correct knowledge understanding, then the results will come, and then all of us uh, can be lucky. So uh, there's another definition of being lucky, at least, which is what works with me, or personally I look at things. Now, having gone through various perspectives of feeling stuck, what can we do, what cannot we do, and so on. One of the things that was visible, in fact, on the previous slides about the fish example, was about that we require to make a change, or we need to put in efforts which requires that, or which ultimately leads to bringing in some change, and that change is about okay, I remove this line. So a lot of time we understand that yes, certain things need to change, because otherwise the results would be the same. Somebody said the definition of stupidity is uh, doing the same things again and again and expecting different results. So you don't get different results until you do something else. But a lot of time what we do is that we expect that others will change, or we want people around us to change. However, the fact is that we do not have control over anybody else. If I talk about myself, I do not have control over change that I want, let's say even in my spouse, kids, parents, or anybody. I do not have control. I can suggest, I can talk about it, but definitely I do not have control. The only control that I have is over the change that I can bring in myself, how I can look at things, how I can look things differently, what I can do differently. And that's the only control or the change that I can bring about myself. So what I want to tell here with this is that being stuck, being there in particular situation wants us that we should change, and that change should happen within us, rather than expecting the world to change, people around us to change, which may happen, may not happen. So that's again going back to the same point of what is in our control, what is not in our control. So changing myself is definitely in my control. However, expecting a change to happen outside, I don't think I can change the COVID situation. But yes, I can definitely change the way I want to look at it. I can definitely change how I look at this the current situation, or what can I do in this current situation. So that's definitely something which is in our control. So if we move on, So we started with this idea that, do you think life is fair? And while we had, I think 17-18% of the people saying that life is not fair. So after having heard myself for, almost 35 minutes now, we would quickly like to know from you that has your perspective changed from earlier? So Anu, if I request Anu to please quickly launch a poll and get us a feedback that, has your perspective changed from earlier? And hopefully, it's not going on the other side, but yes. Oh, yeah.
So hopefully people who had said life is fair say that no, their perspective has not changed. So continue to feel it's fair.
Yes. Okay, so at least somebody says, Adil says that, yes, I maintain that life is fair. Okay, so I think we got an idea. Anyways, we had few people who had this thing that, life is not fair for them. So hopefully this got some perspective on how we can look at life, even for those people who feel that life is not fair, what we can do, how we can look at things there. Okay. Thank you for those results that you can see now. Yes, me too, life is fair. So a lot of us maintain that, yes, life is fair. So I have not done anything which would change your perspective from life being fair to making it unfair, which is at least satisfying that, yes, I have not done that part. Okay, so coming to from the last slide of this is sharing with what works for me. So what is it that keeps me in control? What is it that yeah, John, probably the last question was confusing, so thank you for that feedback. So what is it that works for me, or what is it that I do to maintain myself into the current state that I am, where I definitely believe that life is fair? The first thing is about me time, which means that can I have a quiet time with myself, which could be even a 10 minutes of time time with myself, where I do not have anything around me, no gadgets, no phone, no laptop, no TV, and probably there's nobody around me. I could be sitting in a position which could be meditating position, yoga position, but it could just be doing nothing. And that's the me time that makes a lot of difference for me. And I've had people, when I do my coaching, that they tell me that they find it difficult to find even 10 minutes. And I definitely question those people that, if out of 24 hours in a day, if we are not able to find 10 minutes for ourselves, then there's definitely something that we need to relook at, that what are we focusing, or what are we doing in this life? So definitely I do believe that 10 minutes, 15 minutes of me time is possible and makes a difference. Moving on, gratitude. So remembering what I am grateful for. So every day, thinking about, in fact, even writing down, what am I grateful for? So having gratitude journal is one of those things, but definitely remembering, starting your day with being grateful for what you have today with you. Then working on my purpose of life. So this is something that, if you know, why do you exist today in this world? If you can identify. So I have spent my time, effort on identifying what is my purpose of life, which is here, to be a catalyst in enabling people achieve their dreams so that they can live a purposeful and meaningful life. And as long as any activity that I'm doing, which is in line with my purpose of life, I do not have any conflict with myself. And I'm at peace. I know I'll be able to find time for anything that falls in line with my purpose of life. So if you can identify that purpose of life, uh, it is something which helps to there. Becoming conscious of where I spend my time. So this is about what are the activities where I'm spending my time. And it is said that, you know, in a day we have 60,000 thoughts. And out of 60,000 thoughts, most of them are the same ones as we had it yesterday. And not just that, uh, most of them are either about our past or about our future. So we are spending our time thinking about what has happened in the past, you know, thinking on those, or what is going to happen in future, even in current time, thinking about when we get back to work, what is going to happen? Do I have my job? Do I not have my job? Whatever happened to salary, and so on. So there could be many things which we just spend on time, which possibly do not, because we have little control over what's going to happen. However, we spend most of our time. So just being consciously aware of uh, where where are we spending our time, limiting the time on social media. So it's very easy to spend your day hours on the social media, be it, you know, WhatsApp to Facebook to Twitter to whatever social media it be there. Instead, spend that time on something that you enjoy. Like what I'm doing now is something that I enjoy, and can I spend more time with on that? And last but not the least, but you know, taking things as they come. So these are some of the things that work for me. I'm sure each one of us have some other things. Potentially you can look at this. If people are willing, they can write things in here in the chat to say that what is it that works for them. And when all of this works for me, what I believe is that life is absolutely fair. So this is how I believe that life is absolutely fair. Thank you. Over to you, Anu.
Thanks so much, Rajesh. I think very well said. There's a very interesting comment which I see in the chat box from Vicky. It says, if each one of us would just clean our backyards, the world would be a much better place to live in. This is Mother Teresa's quote that he's mentioned.
Yeah.
And further says that what's in our control, this resonates very strongly with me.
Yeah. In fact, on this control aspect, on the same website, I have written an article. You can go and see that what is in our control. So if you go to coachesforus.in, there's an article that I posted yesterday or today morning about, you know, what is in our control, and you can have your comments also there. Yes.
It's coachesforyou.in.
Coaches for you.
Rajesh.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
So thank you so much, Rajesh. That was, I think, a very, very heartening session. A lot of participation. So thank you, each one of you being here. I will be launching the feedback poll shortly, so don't go away. I just wanted to quickly say that our website, you could all log into www.coachesforyou.in, which not only can you register all our future webinars from there, but you could also look at the various other offerings that we have, like articles, blogs, people who can register for a free coaching session from our experienced coaches, and you can also be a volunteer coach in case you are one. So please stay connected, stay tuned. And with that, I'd like to launch the feedback poll, which will take another 10 seconds for each one of you to answer. And we'll really appreciate your feedback because that is really important for us.
And if you have any questions, please, you can
Yes.
even unmute yourself and ask the question, or put it in the chat box.
Yes, as we are doing the, as we are answering the poll, I would also request if there are any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask Rajesh, or maybe just mention the comments. But please answer the poll. That will be very important for us. 10% voted. Please vote. So we have also our next session, our next webinar, which is on Friday. That's another interesting topic coming up for you, which is about leveraging this disruption and transforming your career. So that's again on the 15th of May, Friday at 4 p.m. So we look forward to having you there as well. Please feel free to tell your friends and family and colleagues about these wonderful webinars that we are creating for you. And we love to have you with us many more times. So Farah has mentioned, love the session. Thank you for creating such spaciousness and powerful reflections. Thanks for the positive notes. Lots of gratitude for you, Rajesh.
Thank you.
So 82% voted, some more to go. Look forward to all your inputs on the feedback poll, please. Thank you so much. Any questions for Rajesh?
Anyway, so you can connect with me on, so my at least name is there, so you can look for my LinkedIn profile or on the internet. And if there's anything that you would like to connect, please feel free to do so.
Yes, and Rajesh is also there on the Coaches for You website, so you could go to his profile and also connect with him.
Yeah.
All right, I think we have just 95% voted. I'll keep this on for another 10 seconds and then we'll close the session. Thank you so much. Thanks for being with us. Look forward to having you with us in the next session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye. Have a good day. Thank you.